welcome back to another episode of the Deloitte Women's Premier League magazine show, guys. We're on to episode 17. Thank you so much for all the support you've shown us over social media and also on YouTube. And make sure that you guys share the video because today, I tell you guys, it's going to be a very exciting episode. We are joined today by Nani and Belle. Nani, of course, a very familiar face in Singapore football. Belle, of course, a goalkeeper for Hougang United. And you guys are second on the table, which is fantastic. I'll get into that right now, guys. So just got a bit of a... Let's start, nicely. How does it feel to be second in WPL, guys?
Amazing.
For me, happy.
Yeah, because you guys kind of like started only last season. I don't know if you were part of the squad, right, last season?
No, last season I was playing for Belle Jaffar. Yeah, but only for a while. Yeah, then I got injured.
Okay, and you recovered and...
I recovered and then after that I decided to join Hougang. Yeah.
Nani, you were not in Hougang last year or were you in Hougang?
No, I was in Japan.
Yeah, you were in Japan.
Yeah.
So for all you all who don't know, this lady over here, she played overseas, in Japan, and she was making headlines. I remember that. We're going to ask you a little bit about that, right? But let's still go with Hougang now because you guys got the kids here and it's amazing. And I thought I like still Aryan kids, but this one are pretty good as well. Don't you think your kids are nice? I don't know. What do you think, Belle, of your kids?
I think it's something different from me, like wearing a pink jersey. I've never worn a pink jersey before, but yeah, it's something new. Yeah.
But your goalie kit is this color, is this?
Yeah, pink and blue.
Ooh.
Light blue.
Nani, I know you must have one very interesting kit, especially when you were in Japan. But what do you think of Hougang's kit?
I think it's okay. It's quite striking actually. Like people can notice you from afar. I think
that's
that's the good.
that's Nani over there, the end there. Speaking of Hougang, right? 5 wins and only 1 loss. Actually a good statistic for your second season. So what's the goal for Hougang at the end of the season, Belle?
I believe for our team we want to come in like top in the league, top of the table. Like that's our goal, and that's what we have been working towards. Yeah.
Top of the table.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Nani, you think there's a chance for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Because I can see that we are all very hardworking, and when we put our mind into something, we would really want to get it done. Yeah.
So what's been the most successful part? Because compared to last season, there was so much improvement. Is it the coaching staff? Is it the teammates that you guys have?
I think from my understanding, right, like there's a change, a revamp of the team for Hougang like this year. So I think I would say that is like the biggest improvement for Hougang this year. Yeah,
a lot of new players.
A lot of new players, yeah.
Yeah. Compared to last season, I think there was a lot of talk about a lot of Hougang players from another team coming, which is very interesting, right? Nani, for yourself, having come back to Singapore and you've played in Japan, so talk me through that, coming back, playing at, I would say, a very high level and coming here. So how was the experience in Japan?
Oh, the experience is, it was really good, like playing with players who are better than you, and also the intensity of the game, it's definitely different from Singapore. So coming back to Singapore, trying to adapt to the intensity, it was a big challenge, to be honest, because I think the intensity that I'm struggling with, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's up to individual to increase the intensity and also like people around you, so you can like motivate them and then, just push one another.
Yeah. So you would say that it's a lot faster there, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And what else? What else have you learned in Japan that you've brought here?
I think it's about the little things. Like for example, when you make a good pass, I feel we kind of like neglect it. Like we never compliment our teammate. Like I feel like it is very important because little things actually can really push us all very far. I don't know, like words of encouragement. Like oh nice pass or good cross or oh no it's okay you can do better next time or I think that is really important. Yeah.
So do you say that while the game is being played, do you like tell each other that in Japan?
Yeah, definitely. Like when we make a good pass and then they'll be like, oh, nice pass, that kind of, if the ball were to go out or what, they were like, no, it's okay, like daijoubu, we will talk and like trying to like encourage one another to like still be focused on the game.
Oh, what's that word again?
Daijoubu is okay, or like if it's a good ball, they will say like sugoi, that kind of things. Yeah, it kind of like help you in the game.
But Albirex is currently top of the table, so you can't be saying daijoubu today when you guys play. But do you think there's a chance that you guys can beat Albirex? Because they are looking quite strong at the moment as well, Belle.
Yeah, I think from the first game that we had with them, it was really I would say a good fight, because we were leading, and then after that they equalized, and then the last minute they had a penalty. So I think this is something that definitely the team is working on. Like Coach Siva is also, I'm sure he have his game plan on how we want to play against Albirex the next game. From the learnings from the first game, and then we can put into the next round with them. Yeah.
Belle, how did you get started in football? What's your story?
Okay, so my story is, I think just like anyone else, like I started playing with my brother, of course, under the void deck. And so how I start goalkeeping, because I was the only one in the group, like with groups of boys. So my brother's like, oh, you just be the goalkeeper, so no choice.
Bopian, as they say.
Yeah, put on my slippers as a glove, and then from there, I started to have the passion for soccer. And then I think when I was like 14 years old, I got called up in the under-19 team. Yeah, so that was many years ago. And then I just started my soccer journey from there.
Okay. Yeah. And Nani, I think many of us already know, like you have done pretty well on the national side. But what's your story? How did you get started in football?
Actually, same as Belle, like at the void deck. But I was playing with my neighbors. And then I was having this short hair back then when I was like 6-7 years old. So like the boys always mistaken me as a boy playing. So when we play against each other, it's kind of like they never really go soft on you. Like they will give you a tough challenge. So I think, then after that, like kind of like, I don't know, I just love the sport. Like everyone is just so bonded together, like like they're just very, very, how do I say this? Like,
passionate.
Yeah, passionate about it. Yeah, so they would just like go all out and everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. Speaking of passionate, I was looking at the WPL list yesterday in terms of the top scorer, and one of your teammates is currently one of the top scorers. She's in the list, Rauda Khamis, and she's actually a very inspiring figure. Many people have spoken out about her here. What's your thoughts about playing with Rauda? I think she's on 5 goals right now. She might actually, get top scorer at the end of the season, but she's made a lot of improvement this season. But what do you think, Belle, playing with her?
I think playing alongside with Rao, like in the club and also in national, I think it's amazing. Like I've seen how hard she worked on the field, and her determination to like score for every game. So I think she have proved that, like for every game that she played, she have scored at least 1 or 2 goals. Yeah. So I think Rao is just an amazing player. Like I can see, the future for football in her. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
She'll go far for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I agree.
You agree? Can you see her playing, more for us in the national team, Nani?
Yes, definitely. I feel like she has improved a lot, and of course it can be better. But like she's a very creative player. Like especially for forward, we need that to set up the play and everything. Because in Hougang, I'm playing as a centre mid. So when I get the ball, like she knows where to run and stuff like that. So we can kind of like read each other. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, and
so the reading and all that is very important. Do you think, again, because like I like to compare your time in Japan, because you want to see how we can improve. Is there any analysis that you guys do as players before that has made you guys successful? Like, do you guys, look at your games or anything like? Is anybody doing that for you on the club? Any match analysis? Do you watch your highlights or anything like that? Do you do any of that?
I think Coach Siva
we do. Yeah,
did,
Coach Siva, he always like after every game he will share
clips of videos.
Video, during our games. So I think, and he always like tell us to reflect, on the game. And after that, when we come back for training, he wants to hear our feedback. So I think that's a very good learning, for all of us. Yeah, as a team to improve on the next game and to be better, of course. Yeah.
So does that help, you think?
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like from there we can learn from our mistakes, and then we can rectify it, and then when it happens again, we kind of like know how to deal with it. I think
which is very interesting, and also I feel it might be also your secret ingredient to the improvements this season. All these details.
Do you just really?
All those small details.
No, actually, I think all the teams do this. But
Yeah,
it's just,
actually quite true.
Obviously, you don't have to tell me like what's the details of it, but it does work. Analysis is very important, because I feel like in men's football is done a lot, but women's football, we need all this improvements to be able to get better. Speaking of improvements, right, in the ASEAN region, Okay, there are a lot of teams. Some teams have qualified for the Women's World Cup. We've got Philippines, Vietnam, for example. Which team do you think we should be learning from? I mean, maybe Nani, I'll ask you this. Since you've played overseas, any team you think we can be learning from? Things that we can try to adapt?
I think probably like Philippines, Vietnam, like the ones going to the World Cup right now. Like, for example, Philippines. I feel like they got a lot of like overseas trainings, and also they kind of like get the people to come together and train, because I feel like that's what we're lacking in Singapore. I mean, because we all know that we are all not professional, so we got other commitments that we need to commit. But I reckon like when it comes to like FIFA window period or like an international friendly, like the preparation must be really solid, and I think probably we are like lacking on that, like in terms of like time, or like like people got other things to do. Probably that's what we can look up upon.
So more time together.
Yeah, more time together, definitely. Yeah.
Are you following any of the teams in the Women's World Cup? Any teams that you have been inspired by in women's football?
To be honest, I think when Japan started winning the first World Cup, I think that was really an inspiration to all of us in Asia, especially having like an Asian team to win the World Cup in 2011. So I think from there we can see like
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible for the Asia region to win the World Cup, and I think like Japan winning the World Cup is just an eye opener for the rest of the country in Asia. Like probably like the FA started like taking women's soccer seriously.
Yes, correct.
So I think that's a very good learning for all of us in the Asia region.
And they also have the best jerseys.
Correct.
That's true.
And good players,
jerseys, right?
Yeah.
I thought like it's especially this year's Women's World Cup. So Nani, I mean, before we go on to the next part, I think I just want to share or maybe get your thoughts, because we want to know a bit of your experience when you were in Japan. Like, what you enjoyed the most, Because I saw your photos, you were having so much fun with your teammates. What did you enjoy? What was your takeaway from your experience in Japan?
I think to be able to train every day as a professional soccer player, because that's one thing that I can't have in Singapore. Yeah, and also like to see that everyone is always together, and also learning new language. Like I was actually having difficulties on that because I played as a centre back. So when you play as a centre back, you always have to command so much. Yeah, so been trying to learn like all those little things that can kind of like push my team forward, like when we are having like like difficulties and stuff like that. And also to be playing alongside all the Japanese players, and I was in INEC, and because most of them are all like World Cup players, like Japan national team. Yeah, so it's kind of like it motivates me to do even better, when you are in the right environment. Yeah, I think that's a
I always find it very interesting, because in Japan you tend to get lost in translation. Everything is in Japanese there. So like how did you cope with that? Were there moments when you were like frustrated or?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of struggles out there. But I do have like a translator, but at times like he's not there. Like not every time, only when he can come and make it. And also when I will get really lost when it comes to like tactical play, because it will start, stop, and then the coach will try to explain. And then the translator will take like a bit more time, like to kind of like process what the coach is saying, and then trying to like translate to me in English. And then by the time like the play already started. So it's like, you kind of like, and then I don't know, by the time you kind of like know it's actually all the same thing over and over again. It's a repetitive,
But I guess the best part is that you get out of your comfort zone. You put yourself out there, which not many players in Singapore are willing to do. You got to get out there and keep trying. Which I think is important. So impressive stuff, So hopefully more girls, we can see more girls going overseas. Maybe you can go overseas still. Come on, Okay, let's talk about Women's World Cup, guys. Who do you think will win this year's Women's World Cup?
Well, I think that's a tough one, but I'm rooting for England.
Oh, the Lionesses!
Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
No, I think like for me personally, like I've seen how the team have come, now, like back then, they wasn't a name that anybody mentioned, but now I think winning the Euro Cup, like it shows that they are a team that the rest of the country should look out for. Yeah, and they have good young players, a balance of experience and young. So I think that's a very good team, I would say.
You know, another thing about the Women's World Cup, or maybe I'll just ask you as well, who do you think will win the Women's World Cup?
I think for me, because it's based in Australia and New Zealand, I think Australia will have a high chance of winning.
Matildas.
Yeah, Matildas is doing quite well these days, especially Sam Kerr, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sam Kerr. It's quite a legend as well,
Yeah.
isn't she? You know, it's a little bit interesting thing as well is the fact that there are players who are going to be playing their 6th World Cup. So
Yeah.
you've got Marta, Lucy Bronze. Longevity in women's football is a pretty massive thing. We don't see it in men's, by the way. You can play like for many, many more years longer. Marta is in her 40s or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, why is there an issue in women's football where women can play for much longer? Is it the stamina, or is it because we're lacking younger players?
I
I think I can relate, you know, to your question because it's quite relatable to me. I mean, yeah, for my age, like I think for the woman, like doesn't matter how old you are, you know, like if you have the passion, then you can just continue playing. And also like if you are talking about developing younger players, I think it would take a bit of more time because like you know maybe the younger players like they are not mature, you know, in terms of the football thinking compared to the older players. So they need more playing time, you know, more games to actually have that, you know, mentality and that maturity to understand the game better. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a very good point about maturity. And a lot of players actually they tend to mature a little bit later, then they become better players. We've seen that, you know, a lot. So that's fantastic. Okay, so before we go, you know, I just want to say thank you guys for joining. I learned a lot from you guys, but I just want to get, you know, a little bit of words of advice from each of you for all the girls out there who are watching this and who maybe want to play football, want to be a goalkeeper, want to play in Japan, I don't know. they want to be the next women's footballer. So can we get like a word of advice? Maybe we start with you, Nani over there.
Okay, I think for me is to be able to have that desire and also to be brave, to get out of your comfort zone. So whatever it is, I know it can be scary at times, but just take that first step and then everything will just process and it will always go smoothly. I think the hardest part is always taking the first step. So just be brave enough to, just take the first step. Yeah.
Belle?
Okay, so I think for myself, right, my advice to the younger players, like, just go for it. You know, if you have the passion and the drive, put your heart into it, and you know, just enjoy the game.
Yay! Enjoy the game and get out of your comfort zone. I've learned so much today from our two brilliant guests. Thank you so much, you know, Nani and Belle, for joining me. And of course, do continue to follow them. I'm sure Hougang United or Hougang Women's team is going to do very well. Watch out, okay? Watch out, guys. Thanks, guys. And of course, for more on women's football and the Deloitte Women's Premier League, do follow us. And my name is Ash. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.